Hey everyone, welcome back. This is Mandy. We're going to make a set of ornaments today. We're going to decorate the inside of these glass ornaments from Michaels. I've actually bought these last year. So I had sped this up way too much to explain the process. So I'm going to slow down the process for the first one and then I'll speed up the rest. So what I'm doing is coating the inside of this with some polyacrylic. You can really kind of use any kind of varnish. So I'm basically just swirling it around the ornament. And you don't really want a lot of excess fluid in there because if you have excess fluid in there, it's going to run. So once I get it good and coated, I turn it upside down and let the excess drip out into a little cup. And I do my best to reuse what drips out. That way I don't have any waste. So that's kind of what you see me doing here. So these are glass. So when you're tapping it on your hand, you want to tap it on the meaty part of your hand, not your bone. Obviously, I have broken them before. So in all three of these, I'm using an interference violet first, and I'm just putting a little bit on the popsicle stick, and I'm out of frame, I'm sorry, and kind of tapping it around, and then tapping the ornament on my hand to kind of spread it out a little bit more effectively, right? You won't use as much pigment if you're sprinkling a little and then tapping it. So I zoomed out a little bit. So for this first one, I'm using Northern Lights and Mystic Blue or Mystique. I can't remember, from Primary Elements from Colourarte. By the way, there is a 20% off discount code for Colourarte in the description box below using Mandy1120. You will see me use gum Arabic for effect, but you don't have to use it. It can be fun because it creates some cool effects, but if you don't sprinkle it lightly enough, it can also create like a gap with no color. So after this set of ornaments, I didn't really use it as much. But so, use it if you like, but you don't really necessarily have to. But all I'm doing is putting a tiny bit in there and sprinkling it around. What it does is it creates kind of like a cluster. It's hard to describe, but it creates kind of a shadowy effect, which is cool. But so now we're using Northern Lights. Now, the reason why primary elements are so fun for these ornaments is because primary elements are water soluble, so they react with that varnish, and that activates the color really nicely. So when you put a layer in, like what we're doing, even if it's a little bit, it's going to continue to react with the moisture that is in that ornament. So I was making these as a set, a gift for my mother-in-law, because she loves teal. So I thought these would be beautiful for her. So what I did is I made 4 different ornaments, but I basically, this is Mystique. I rotated in 4 different primary elements in some variation. So they're matching, but they're not all identical. You know what I mean? So that they're part of the same color family. So this one I made with Interference Violet, Northern Lights, and Mystique. And the next one I'll make with Interference Violet, African Jade, and Calypso. And then I'll interchange them again. So after this one, I'll speed it up quite a bit. But you can see as we're tapping in the color and we're kind of tapping it on our hand, we're basically filling in some of those places with color where it's naked. Now, you do use a lot more pigment this way than you would, let's say, using for painting. So I try to use less of my actual primary elements and more interference color. So sometimes if you put an interference color in first, you get that cool interference effect kind of on the outside. On a future video, you'll see where I put the color in first so that the color kind of starts to absorb in that liquid and move around, and then I fill in with the interference. So you can really do it either way. They're all so beautiful. These are so gorgeous up close. I was telling my husband I put some on our tree, and I have some blue lights on our tree, so you can't even see some of the shimmer of the ornaments. But I'm not going to restring our lights this year. But they're so gorgeous. They would be beautiful like in a hurricane vase where you can see the colors. But I mean, they're absolutely gorgeous, and they're great gifts. So this is a fun thing to do at Christmas. So when I need a mental break from homework, I threw on a Christmas movie, and I was working on some of these, and it was a great brain break for me, and it helps kind of get you in the Christmas spirit, you know. So it looks like I'm really whacking the heck out of that thing, but I'm very gently tapping it against the meaty part of my hand. What's cool is this will continue to develop. I do show you a close-up of how they finished, but you can see the interference violet, just really, really beautiful. So that's just to give you an idea. I made some of these last year, and they were just so much fun, and they were so beautiful. And I was thinking when I was making them, I was like, you know, I'm a major Christmas junkie, and I would have totally bought them if I saw them at the store, you know? So let's make the second one. And we'll speed these up significantly. So we're adding the interference violet. And tapping it on our hand. Same principle. So now I'm going to speed it up a little bit. All right, so we're tapping the interference violet around. A little bit more. I probably use way more pigment than you actually need. But I obsess about the little blank spots that you could see through. But, I mean, who cares? It's on the Christmas tree, right? So what I do is I get these while Michael's has them for dirt cheap. 60% off or whatever. So that way you're just, really your cost is in the use of your pigment, not the ornaments themselves. So this one we are using Calypso, which is a gorgeous color, by the way. So if you saw me do these last year, I did a whole bunch, and I had so much fun doing them. And so I still have boxes of ornaments left that I fully intended to decorate throughout the year. So you can see how beautiful this color is. I had that sped up a little bit too much where you can't see the color. So now we're using another favorite of mine, African Jade. So I made some of similar color last year, and they were some of the favorites that I made, and I used Calypso and African Jade together with an interference color, maybe green. I don't remember. Anyway, we ended up giving them as a set to one of our bosses as a gift. And I just remembered them being so pretty. So I went back to the video and I looked up the colors used, which is another great reason to video, right? Because then you can remember what you did. So I was like, I'm going to do some variation. I may not do them all the same. So you notice I just added a little drop of the varnish. Around the opening tends to dry out a little bit faster than anything else, but if you add any liquid, you have to be so sparing. So I added as like a little drop, and then I swish it around real quick. But you know, if something dries out too quickly, you can do that. But you can see how pretty they are. Like, the colors are just gorgeous. And so anyway, so these are, I think, 2.5 inch or maybe 3 inch, 2.5 inch. So they're kind of small. So, but they're perfect for like a tree. So as these dry, the darker colors will kind of continue to grow a little bit. So, I know it's like Action City over here, seeing me whack that against my hand, but, just a really beautiful little ornament. I realize my close-up is probably a little fast. So all I'm doing here is trying to fill in that kind of blank spot at the top, so there's enough coverage so it doesn't look naked. So really pretty. Slowed it down just a little bit so when I show you up close you can see what it looks like. Really pretty. So now let's do the next one. So this one, starting again with the interference violet, so that's not all that exciting. And so in this one, we're going to swap the colors. So where we would have used like Northern Lights with Mystique, we're probably going to use Northern Lights and Calypso. And then on the last one, we'll do African Jade with Mystique. So that's kind of what I did. I used 4 different colors, same interference color, and I just kind of kept just the same color family. So if you haven't been following my channel for a long time, you may not have seen that I did a vase this way. And let me tell you, those are gorgeous. So I have a ton of clear vases, and people give them to me because they know that I either hydro dip them or I've decorated the outside of them before. So I was thinking about a gift idea, and I had this. So this we're doing Calypso is the color we're putting in. So I had a gift idea, and so because I already have all this stuff out to do ornaments, I got a couple of vases out. That Calypso color is gorgeous, by the way. So I was thinking of making a gift idea. This is Northern Lights now, I think, that I'm about to add. And so I was asking about colors in this person's home, and with the little insight I got, I was like, well, you know, like rustic earth tones would probably be good, right? And I've always wanted to do one of those vases with like gold and like the beautiful warm browns that Colourarte has and like an interference gold. So I was like, well, let's give it a shot. So in an upcoming video, you'll see how the vase turned out. And, you know, I'm sorry in advance, there's probably going to be a lot of ornament videos because I'm decorating them and I need to be able to remember what colors I do. After I made this set, I just turned the camera off and I was playing around. So I have some of the bigger plastic ornaments, and I've had a hard time getting them to get the same effect on the inside because the varnish, like it'll coat the inside of a plastic one. Here's this one up close. Really gorgeous. You see that interference violet shimmer in the light. So pretty. So pretty. Anyway, I've been having a hard time coating the plastic ones and getting the same effect to stay because, so now we're doing the interference violet again. Because with the plastic ones, the liquid, if you have any excess liquid at all, it pools and moves around on the inside. So I made a set as a sample and they were pretty, but the liquid pooled a lot, and so you lose some of the fun effects that you get this way. So I finally, when I had the camera off the other day, I was just playing around with them because I was like, I'm going to use them anyway, even if I put them on our tree. So I figured out if you let the liquid drain a lot longer, like where you barely have enough to work with, they work great. You don't get quite as beautiful of an effect as with we're using Mystique and African Jade for this one, with the glass ones. But I had gotten some of those bigger plastic ones like on a great sale last year, and I was determined to try to make them work for something, you know. So I did a couple off camera and I just kept them really simple and they were really beautiful, but I figured out you just have to let enough liquid drain out. So you may see some random ones that I do here and there when I'm making them for our own tree. And I take a few more risks with those because, you know, I'm not committing to a color pattern that's going to be a whole set. It's kind of fun to just do whatever color you want, you know. So I did one with key lime and interference gold. So this is African Jade. So anyway, that's kind of fun too. I know like some people are like, this is fun, but I don't want glass ornaments on my tree. I've got kids, I've got pets. I get it. Our dog knocked over our entire tree one year and broke some glass ornaments. So I totally get when plastic is better. And so you can do them with plastic. You just have to let more liquid drain out. But these are so fun to do, and you can do them with your kids, you know. You can do them while you're watching Christmas movies. You can do them as kind of a family craft project. And they're great gifts. I mean, people really appreciate that you made them something homemade. And they're still a labor of love. It's not like they're just a 5-minute quick gift. I mean, they take time. So you can make them match someone's tree. It's really cool. So I think last year I just had a great time making them for so many of our family members. So I'm going to show you a close-up here so you can see how they finish, like overnight, how they turn out. So here comes the close-up. Really, really pretty. Anyway, thank you for watching with me. You have to let me know what you think. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope everyone had a wonderful Thanksgiving and is looking forward to Christmas. Thank you for joining me as I created these and kind of shared with you the process. There will probably be more because I have a lot to do to get ready for Christmas. But as you can see, they turn out really beautiful. And I love how kind of unpredictable they are. But not bad for some blank glass ornaments, you know? Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to check the description box for discount codes. Have a great day. Bye.